All right, so this is the first podcast we're doing here. Totally off the fly. Don't really know any straight up direction. We don't even have a name yet. Just doing this to see how it goes. This is the first one. So I'll kick it off and I'll just introduce myself, and then my buddy here will introduce himself.
Probably just start with names.
Yeah. So this is Nathan, and right here next to me is
Travis.
Gucci, Mr. Gucci.
Mr. Gucci bags.
We don't have any cool nicknames. Maybe we'll come up with cool nicknames in the future. But anyway.
I thought mine was Big Dick Larry.
So we did make some notes to try to help us get through this, and the first thing is our introduction and origins, and I'll kick it off. So I'm Nathan. I got into cigars around 2013, and the thing that mainly got me into cigars was I smoked the acid. I hated it. But I did enjoy the smell of a cigar a guy was smoking on a job site. So back then I was doing construction, and I was on a job site, and I smoked a lot of cigarettes, and I still smoke a lot of cigarettes. But back then I was on a job site, and there's a guy smoking a cigar, and I kept getting a whiff of it, and I was looking around to see who's smoking it, and I found the guy, and I'm like, what is that? And I guess he was smoking a Philly Titan, but it still smelled awesome.
Big fucking cigarette.
Yeah. And I asked him how much he paid for it. He said he paid about $4. And he says he don't smoke any of the nice stuff on the job site. So he did smoke nicer stuff than Philly Titans.
That you know of.
Yeah. He was a tuck pointer, and he was just having the stogie hang out of his mouth while working. And I thought it smelled awesome. And from there, I decided to go around looking. So it also worked out that I was a heavy cigarette smoker, but I was wanting to get into other forms of tobacco, and I was trying snuff around the time as well, which is the tobacco that you snort. And
how old were you?
Oh God, 2013. Shit, I don't know, 26, around there. No, maybe younger. Yeah, 26.
You were smoking before that, weren't you?
I was smoking cigarettes since I was 9. Yeah.
You just graduated to all formats of tobacco.
All formats. So, yeah, I smoked cigarettes since I was 9. My buddy found a box of cigars for me when I was about 13. I tried smoking them, but since I was smoking cigarettes, I thought you'd inhale them. And no, you do not inhale cigars. So I thought they sucked. I liked the smell then, too. So I was getting into snuff, and when I smelled that guy's cigar, I decided to go try to find some of my own. I went to a local tobacco store, and I got a pack of CAO just because I was reading the back of the package, and one of the flavor profiles said nutmeg. And at that time, I was putting a lot of nutmeg in all my food. And I was like, well, that sounds fucking awesome. So I smoked that cigar, and sure enough, maybe it was just the power of suggestion, but I did taste nutmeg in that CAO.
It was snorting nutmeg at the time.
It was snorting. Well, I also heard you could get high off nutmeg too, which I didn't master.
You just kept rolling it in papers, and you couldn't get it to
The kids knew how to do it. I did not.
all the cool kids were smoking nutmeg.
At any rate, that's what really got me going, was that CAO, and I can't for the life of me remember which it was, but I remember it was a 4-pack sampler. One of the cigars said nutmeg. That was the first one I smoked, and I tasted it in there. And
Did you get high?
No, because I smoked a fuck ton of cigarettes.
With
the nutmeg? Yeah, with the nutmeg? No, I did not. I still haven't mastered that. I need to get back to the lab.
Jesus Christ. Unbelievable.
Yeah. So from there, I kept going back to that little tobacco shop, and I'd still tool around with snuff and stuff like that. I did try chewing tobacco. Red Man was awesome. I love the taste of Red Man, and sometimes you can get a cigar that has that kind of similar flavor profile that you would get from that type of chew.
God, that sounds terrible.
I love that. I absolutely love that. That very strong tobacco, raisiny flavor.
Like plum pudding pipe tobacco.
Yes. Yeah, so from there I really got into it, and then I found the undercrown Maduro, which there wasn't any other type of undercrown back then. It was just the undercrown, and that was the first Maduro that I was exposed to, and I thought that thing was fantastic, and that really got me going on trying all types of other stuff.
The CAO was lighter.
It was a light to medium, but the flavor was there from what I recall. And at that time, I didn't really know any of the nomenclature of cigars, so I didn't really know, even light, mediums, even stuff I should have known by smoking cigarettes.
You didn't even ease yourself.
I didn't even, no, I just
kind
was
of went straight to Maduro.
going in. Yeah, and but I'm a cigarette smoker. I smoked a lot of nicotine. I took nicotine in many other formats,
Including nutmeg.
including nutmeg, tomatoes. I love raw tomatoes. That has a bit of nicotine, doesn't it?
I guess.
So
Yeah, I think
nightshades have some
that's
nicotine.
that's the new thing I keep hearing.
Yeah. But yeah, that's my story. I guess I probably could have told that better, but whatever. This is my first.
We were
go-round,
talking
so-
about not coming up with nicknames. I think nutmeg might be your new nickname.
Nutmeg Nate.
Nutmeg Nate.
How about you, buddy? Tell us about your first experience with cigars.
I'm not as.
And let us know, what's your name again?
Oh yeah,
excuse
probably.
me, sir.
Excuse me, stranger. We're sitting in the cigar lounge that we work at, and so there's people walking by, watching us sit here smoke cigars in front of them when we don't have the doors open. I'm Travis. I am not as much of a veteran at smoking all formats as Nate is. I got into cigars, 5 years ago. I moved to Nashville, and I had been working in the restaurant industry, so I'm familiar with people smoking cigarettes. I've dabbled in cigarettes here and there. My father, who was still in New York at the time, had a friend that he worked with that was younger than I was, and they became best friends. And this guy's dad got him into cigars, and so he invited my father out to hang out with him, go smoke at a cigar lounge, and hang out more, be friends. And my father, who had been a smoker for most of his younger years and quit smoking, was a little hesitant, and he said, I'm not sure. And the guy, Mike, he had said, well, this is completely different from smoking cigarettes. It's not the same kind of experience that you would get from smoking cigarettes. And so my dad agreed and went and hung out with him, smoked a cigar, called me after that hour and a half session, and said, "Oh, I smoked a cigar today." It was like, it was fun. It's a good hobby. I don't think I'll get into it. It's just every now and then I think it'd be fun to go hang out and smoke a cigar. And I said, "Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. I've never done that before, but that sounds like you're making friends up there and having fun." About a week later, he had 2 humidors coming in the mail. that he told me about, and a bunch of boxes of cigars. And I said, well, so much for a hobby that you're not going to get into and you're just going to dabble in. So I went up to visit him in New York, and he pulled the same trick on me.
Well, I hate to interrupt you, but you think it's because you've told me before your dad's a collector. So do you think that is what pushed your dad into getting a box right away, just because he is a collector? And
I don't know. My dad, so I get this from my dad as well. Like, when we're into something, it's balls to the wall. So I think he smoked his first cigar. I think he hung out with him a couple more times after that before he ordered them. I think he liked it, and so instead of just kind of being timid and like easing into it, he said, I'm just going to buy boxes of the cigars I like. So he just bought boxes. He does like collecting. He's now a very avid cigar smoker and very much so a collector. He has so many cigars all over the place. Some that he just has because of their rarity and he's never smoked them before. He's just holding on to them. So luckily for me, I'll get to smoke them.
cool. So what you're telling me is I should actually be doing this podcast with your dad.
Probably. No, my dad. I think my dad would understand how to do a podcast. So we're in the same boat. Actually, yeah. No, never mind. It might be better to hang out with my dad.
Let's all get in the same boat together.
My dad only hangs out with 30-year-olds now anyway, so we might as well fucking do it. But so he pulled the same trick on me. He goes, hey, let's go smoke a cigar. And we go to this lounge in upstate New York, and he grabs me, he takes me into the humidor and he points me towards infused cigars and, you know, all of his favorites, and then infused cigars, assuming my son's never done this before, I'm going to ease him into it. I had, unbeknownst to him, smoked cigars before at like brew fests and beer festivals, but they were like cheap $7-8 flavored sticks, rum flavored, whiskey flavored, whatnot.
Is there a reason your dad didn't know about that? He wouldn't want you having those cigars, or just it never?
I
came
never
out.
told him. It's like it's the same with like you don't tell your parents about underage drinking, or maybe you do. I did.
I did.
It's like it's now to the point where I try to tell him about my teenage years and my like young 20s and whatnot, and he goes, "I don't want to hear it." So, don't want to hear about your drug induction, your drug introductions, and all that. So he doesn't want to hear it. He's good with the mystery of having a son. But he. I go there and I had picked up something I was familiar with, which was something that was rum flavored, and it was the Macanudo rum.
I forget.
Or was it the bourbon? No, it was the Macanudo M bourbon. That's what it was. I've had rum and bourbon flavored.
Huh.
It was the Macanudo M bourbon. And it doesn't taste like bourbon whatsoever. It's just really sugary Macanudo, which I feel like most people I talk to usually start out with CAOs or Macanudos or Monte Cristos. And so that Macanudo M, I smoked it, pretended like it was my first cigar, was like, yeah, this is really good. I had a blast.
So when did you start liking real cigars?
Right after that. That was the last flavored cigar I smoked. Up until like now, I just smoke things so that I can sell them. I try different things and just to have the experience of smoking them. But right after that, I go back to Nashville, and I am hanging out with my friend, and I said, "Yeah, I went to a cigar lounge, and I, really liked it. It's a fun hobby, but I don't think I'm just gonna maybe every now and then smoke a cigar. It's no big deal." About a week, 2 weeks later, I have a humidor coming in the mail,
Yep.
a couple boxes of cigars, and same scenario. He goes, "Oh, that's some hobby you have." So it's just been getting passed down. It all started with Mike, my dad's 30-year-old friend, and it ended with now I smoke cigars, my dad smokes cigars, my best friend that I went back and talked to at Nashville, now he smokes cigars, his wife smokes cigars. It's just all over the place.
It's your lifestyle now.
Yeah, everyone.
It's ingrained in your life now, especially with so many people.
I don't think I know
Enjoy.
anyone that doesn't smoke cigars anymore.
Boy, that's great, because I don't. Nobody in my family enjoys cigars. I don't really have any of my friends from back in the day. They don't enjoy cigars. I was totally alone in my. I don't want to say habit. My
Hobby.
vice. Yeah, my hobby. I was alone in my hobby.
Habit's a bad word. Hobby's a good word.
My vice. So that's great.
And your other vice is nutmeg, so.
Nutmeg. Nutmeg Nate. So what? Okay, so you're assistant manager of a lounge here. From when you got your first humidor, how long did it take you to become assistant manager, or just decide to even start working in the lounge environment?
I didn't plan on that. So I had lived in Nashville. I moved from Las Vegas. I lived in Nashville for about a year or so, and then after that year, that's when I got into cigars. And when I had applied for this job, it was the idea of I like cigars and I want to learn more about cigars. I don't have any qualifications to sell cigars, but I'm going to just try to get this job. And I didn't take it very seriously. My whole mentality was I'm already like 16 years in the restaurant industry, so I have a job. I'm not super worried about getting a job. If I get it, I get it. If not, then I don't. So I showed up in a Hawaiian shirt and sandals and just kind of moseyed in there like the dude from The Big Lebowski, and had applied for a job. And then they sat me down and had an interview where they made comments about my outfit.
Hey, we're not open yet, boss.
Oh, you're not?
12 o'clock.
No, 12 o'clock.
12 o'clock. All right, shit. All right.
You're
Thanks.
good?
Really need to lock that door. Yeah, so I applied. They had made comments about my Hawaiian shirt and what an interesting attire for applying for a job or for an interview. And I said, I mean, people that make these things, they're probably wearing the same thing I'm wearing. I'm just acclimating to the culture. And they laughed it off and probably were second guessing. But I ended up getting hired, and I maybe worked there probably about a few months. Worked there about a few months, and then they ended up saying, I was interesting. They had said that I had learned everything I needed to learn. I was, progressing at a fast pace, and they needed an assistant manager. So I just said, you know what, I'll take it. I'll quit my restaurant job. I'll work here full time. And the rest is pretty much history. It was maybe a few months, become an assistant manager, and just really go headfirst into the cigar industry and learning everything about cigars. And that's something you and I have in common, where we're just really nerdy about cigars, cigar culture, tobacco, blends, advocacy, the whole thing. We're just nerd out about things. And I mean, that was my first year here, was just me on my phone researching everything under the sun to learn about tobacco. But my goal was to be more informed than my manager and my owner. So I just pushed at that. Now I'm pretty close,
Yeah.
pretty up there.
Yeah, you're pretty good. And earlier, before we started this, you said that, you know, you'll let me kind of run this along because I got some seniority. But even though I have the years,
You're a tobacco geriatric.
yes, I'm a tobacco geriatric. But you are young and spry. You've got the knowledge about, you know, if same amount, if not more, knowledge than I have. You've really put yourself up there.
That goes into what I got that from my dad, like we were talking about earlier. Like I get into something, it's balls to the wall. It's not a half-ass scenario. I wish I could apply that to like school when I was younger and whatnot, but it's just really only stuff that I'm interested in. I jump in and I learn everything I can until there's nothing else to learn, and then I wait for new stuff. So,
Yeah. Me, on the other hand, for years, I mean, I've been smoking cigars since 2013, but majority of that time, I was just mainly smoking. I know I like this. I know I like this. And I'm
Smoking
just
to smoke.
Smoking to smoke. I did have my preferences and everything, but I never really dug into why those are my preferences. I just, I like this brand. They tend to have things I like, so I'll try them. Or I like a Maduro. I'll smoke a Maduro. Wasn't until years later, probably about 2018, 2019, when I really decided to figure out why the hell I liked what I like. Instead of just going in blind a lot of the times and just enjoying the cigar, I want to know more about it. But you jumped into that a lot quicker than I did. And I think there's a lot of guys in the cigar world that are like me, where, you know, they just know what they like, they smoke what they like, they'll leave it up to the tobacconist to tell them, what the hell am I doing? You know, if there's a cigar that goes out of production, you just go to your local tobacconist and ask, what do you got that's like this? You know,
people like
but I wanted to
comfortable.
be, and I wanted to be, at some point, I wanted to know more than what I knew. I want to be able, I don't want to have to ask anybody, and maybe that's part of me. I don't like being bothered by people.
Same.
When I'm in a store.
Absolutely.
So I better learn it myself if I don't want to be.
I also like it's extremely rewarding when you go into another cigar lounge and the guy that's trying to help you, guy or girl, sorry, trying to help you is giving you information that you already know, or giving you the wrong information but you know better. It's extremely rewarding when you go in and you have more information than the person that owns the cigar shop. That's one of my favorite pastimes, is going into other cigar lounges, and if they ask if they can help me, I go, yeah, what's this about? Fully knowing everything about the cigar, and them giving me information and me just kind of checking it off in my head to dictate if whether or not this is a good place to be, good place to ask questions. But I also,
I mean, you'll at least deal with them. I don't even like dealing with people coming up to me, which is funny because I work at a cigar lounge now, where I go and go up to people. I'm the guy.
you're that guy.
I'm that guy now. But I also get annoyed by people coming up to me because I will sit there in a humidor for like an hour looking at things and researching whatever I'm looking at up on my phone to figure out what the hell.
Out of interest.
So I don't like anybody taking my time when I'm I'm dedicating it to something already, you know.
On average, when I go to a cigar lounge, just to go into a humidor, I'm guaranteed to be in there for at least an hour. I've been in humidors for almost 2 hours, but guaranteed to be in a new humidor, an hour. I'm looking at everything, trying to find unique stuff, different blends. I mean, I don't remember my second, third. I want to say there's probably a Fuente as one of my second or third cigars I've ever had. I know the Judge was my fourth or fifth cigar that I ever had, and that knocked me the fuck out. but I don't smoke the same thing. I don't like comfortable. So most of my experience in cigars has been I'm grabbing stuff and I'm smoking it. If I don't like it, then I know better. If I do like it, then I'll figure out what I like about it and find similar stuff. But I try not to smoke the same thing every day. I try not to smoke the same thing in a week. I try to just variety.
Yeah.
Even when I'm working here, I've smoked almost everything except for the $600-$700 cigars that we have here. I've smoked everything in that humidor 2-3 times over, and it's just out of keeping my palate up to date and making sure I have selling points and figuring out what each cigar is like, flavored, unflavored. I smoke everything in that humidor just to have the knowledge base.
That's very
Cigar
inspiring. I smoke a lot of different things, but for a different purpose. You actually want to help people. I just want to help myself. So I like variety for the sake of having variety. I like to have something different all the time. You know,
Yeah.
I do have blends that I'm not necessarily a fan of, but there's a lot that I do like. And I try to spread it out as much as I'm possible. I'm never bored.
Speaking of one you like, what are you smoking right now?
I'm smoking a Amazon Basin from 2016. It's, let's see, today is February 2nd of 2025. So this almost has 10 years age on it. Amazon Basin's a fantastic smoke. That's, again, CAO.
I got a hot take for it.
You got a hot take?
I got a hot
Let's
take.
hear it.
It's overhyped.
It is overhyped, but I still love them.
Yeah.
I still love them. It's overhyped for sure. I mean, sometimes like the I think the Añejo they released, it was kind of a one note, but it's a one note that I like enough to sit there for an hour and a half and smoke.
Yeah. It's a good cigar. Just the amount of hype that comes with that cigar, because it's so limited. When people get a box, they're all over social media ranting and raving. I got a box of CO, Amazon Basin, blah 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 blah. It's exhausting at times, being on like cigar social media and seeing people overhype a cigar.
Yeah.
To a point where like you've had it, you know it's good. I'm not gonna sit here and shit on it. It's a good cigar, but it's not the second coming. It's just a good cigar.
It's with age, it's an even better cigar. I mean, this 2016 is fantastic. It's not necessarily, this one here is not a one note.
Yeah,
it does have some transition to it.
It's probably smooth
and
as hell, too.
It's very smooth. I'm only about an inch in, and
That's what she
it's
said.
a fantastic smoke. That's what she said.
Yeah.
I got 4 more for you, baby.
On that note, I got about 4 inches of my cigar. If we put them together, we could be pleasing.
Yeah, it's girth though, girthy.
Yeah, yours is girthy. I'm actually. It's funny because you normally go for, like recently, you've been normally going for these thinner ring gauges, and I've been going for the thicker ones. I mean, yours is what?
Today
Toro.
we're smoking the opposite.
Yeah, we're smoking opposites.
What are you smoking?
I'm smoking the green San Parai. It's a Dominican Puro. I figured I'd start out my morning fairly light.
It's light to medium, yeah.
Yeah, I would say it's like a medium. Yeah, it's deceptively light. It uses a method called the desflorado method, where not every tobacco plant gets these top leaves right above Ligero leaves. Some plants will get tall enough where they'll get extra small leaves above the Ligero, and those are where like the flower buds kind of start blooming. It gets beat on by the sun, and before those flower buds bloom, they'll cut them so that all the nutrients that would have gone to the flower stay in those top few leaves. And so what you end up having is a tobacco that has a flavor profile that's more vegetal and herbaceous, more like a tea, a floral tea kind of thing, but still has strength. Ligero would be strongest in nicotine content and strength. This still has a lot of that strength to it, but the flavor profile is really light and just very silky and easy to smoke. So I figured I'd start my morning out with a cup of coffee and a Desflorado Dominican cigar. So, Sanparai, would you call that boutique? It's kind of boutique.
I think it's boutique.
I would call it boutique. It's a very unique brand. Not a lot of places carry it. Not a lot of people know about them.
And I feel like people are missing out. Now,
Absolutely.
the price point is kind of a deterrent to Sanparai.
Is that why you called me Gucci in the beginning of this?
Yeah, to go for the Sanparai.
Gucci cigar. It does have a green label. Like that'd be a Gucci green label. Yeah, the price point's deterring.
But they're worth it. To
Yeah.
me, they're worth it.
They work with unique tobaccos. They have a lot of methods that big brands try to do and don't accomplish. They only use 10% or even less of the tobacco that they have in general growing. Their rollers are highly experienced rollers. They don't just hire some schmuck to come in and start rolling tobacco leaves up. So a lot of the details and a lot of the stuff that us as consumers don't really think about, they take into consideration. They put forth 110% effort and end up with a product that is super clean, silky, just a luxurious experience. This size, Corona? A little bit longer than a Corona.
Yeah.
Not super pricey. I guess figuratively speaking, because I can manage with it, but definitely worth a try. I feel like everyone needs to try
Try
something
it.
like that.
Absolutely. I mean, I would say that some of their stuff can be comparable to Opus.
I would even argue Davidoff. Some of their
Yeah.
stuff can compete with Davidoff,
I agree.
and I'm a Davidoff fanboy, but there are some cigars out there that I'm just like, if I had to choose, I'd take this over a Davidoff even.
Yeah.
I was actually debating on smoking a Davidoff, but I went boutique-y instead. I feel like everyone knows Davidoff. I like the weird stuff, the unique stuff.
Yeah, and I think, honestly, kicking it off with something that is a bit less known is a great way to show people what they're in store for as far as what we're going to smoke in the future. Because
Yeah.
we tend to do
The
smoke
potential.
a lot more boutique to have variety out there. I mean,
There's another hot take: is I would much rather have a boutique cigar than a well-known brand.
yeah,
I
it,
100.
it depends for me. I mean, because there's some well-known brands that I still love what they do, and they are.
Oh, yeah.
Some of them do manage to be very consistent, which I can appreciate.
I mean, I love the Fuentes and the Davidoffs. Like, I like all the regular brands, but there's not. It's very far and few between that some of these older brands find a way to wow me. They're consistent. They're always good. I expect that from them. But there's never a scenario where they take a risk that's super drastic. I think the last one that I can think of from a well-known brand would have been the Davidoff Grand Cru, where it was aged in the French wine barrels. That was a leap for them. They chose to age the filler, not just the wrapper, or not the wrapper at all, just the filler. So I I like those boutique brands. They have nothing really to lose. They gamble, they take risks, they like trying new things, and
It's crazy to me that they do take risks because of the research I've done. It could be pretty pricey to even break into the industry in any way. I mean, from my understanding, some factories don't want to deal with you unless you have, 50 G's that you're willing to drop on product. What do you think they're gonna try to come in?
I know he is. That's my dad.
Oh, snap! Perfect timing, man. I do get to do a podcast with your dad.
He's gonna come in. Look at this asshole. No, he's peeking. Look. He's peeking.
Go ahead and let him in.
No, I don't want him to come in.
What do you want, Tyler?
Are you sitting right there?
Well, Travis is out there talking to his dad. What's he got? Is he bringing him a new gun? What's he got in that box?
We're got cigar delivery.
Oh,
We're
hey, how's it going?
Hey, how are you?
Good.
It's Nate.
Huh?
We've met Nate before.
I think so.
Yeah, met you once before, yeah.
Yeah, we have. How you been?
Pretty good. How about you?
Not too bad.
Good.
Complain.
We're recording we're trying to do a cigar podcast.
Awesome.
Like a delivery.
Yeah, well,
Got a delivery.
hey,
What you get?
Yeah, I'm still waiting on my Bolivars.
Oh, the Ichiban and everything?
Yeah.
We got Ichiban bundles, Connecticut, Habano, Argenta Mave, Farce,
That's good.
Maculata. Hell yeah. I need that.
And free delivery.
And free delivery. I'll get you a cigar. Do you want a green sand fry?
Sure.
I literally am smoking a green sand fry right now.
Sure. I have a little Romeo and Julieta Habano in the Habana in the car. I cut it. I was going to smoke it down here on the way down here. Can't even get a draw on it. It's just ready. It's like, so I have it in the car. It's cut and ready to go. It's like, it's a no-go.
You got a perfect draw at home to
Yeah, dude.
use? Yeah.
I thought about lighting it up and just sucking it up.
No way.
But this is for me, that's one of my pet peeves. I can't deal with rappers coming undone and stuff like that. I don't care. But a tight draw,
Nah, it ruins the whole experience.
yes. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a struggle.
Yeah, why struggle? You're trying to enjoy some.
Oh yeah.
So it's, I say, it's
I'll struggle through it. I'm always in it.
Thanks for dropping off my stuff.
so that I can find my way
A
home.
green sand fry. I figured green sand fry was a good reward for coming out here. It's your favorite cigar.
Yes.
I literally mentioned on this that you, how you got me into cigars. So
Yeah, created a monster.
you created
Yeah.
a monster. I'm the monster, and you're the one with all those cigars. I'm not a monster.
Because you smoke them faster than you collect them. I'm the
Well,
other
yeah.
way around.
Well, you collect them faster than you smoke them.
Yeah, because I can't pass up a deal. It's like as soon as I see a deal, it's like,
That's a good deal.
You're a
Look,
thrifty cigar shopper.
well, yeah, if I can save 50, 60, sometimes $70 on a box of something, I'm gonna buy it.
Yeah.
Thrifty thrifterson.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah, I managed to find a box of the Placencia Year of the Snake.
Yeah.
It's originally $500. I found a box for $300.
Yeah.
I could not pass that up. There's
Even
no
if you
way.
don't smoke it right away.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
I did eventually smoke it though, and that is a fantastic smoke in my opinion. maybe not worth the $50. I get it that it's limited, so that's their price point. But
There's so many cigars that are so good, and I'm not going to smoke it because of that.
yeah,
You know,
it's just
but if I can get like numero unos or whatnot on sale and everything else, or
Yeah.
if it's the last box of something and I know they're not going to make no more, like,
Yeah.
should I hide or what?
There's no hiding from Craig. There's no hiding. He'll find you.
oh shit.
Shit.
Do we gotta cut this early?
I don't know.
See,
This
we've
is
been
why
doing it for
Sundays are dog shit.
42 minutes. Well, not if we're here a bit earlier.
That's fair. We
You
did
know?
have to set up and all that.
Yeah.
I mean, this could be the second one. Like this stuff.
Yeah.
So
What do you
I mean,
want? You want to end it now, or?
Well, so here's the thing: is someone had told me, or Peter had told me. He goes, if you're doing a podcast, he goes, you want to try to make it in biteable
Points.
sections.
Yeah.
He said, so like do a 20-minute podcast
Okay.
and
so
then go bigger.
I think I'll leave a lot of this in too, so people can see what we're having to. This is our first podcast here, so people can see what.
Oh yeah.
What our
Maybe
trials
skip
and tribulations.
out his name that I just threw in.
Yeah. Well, we didn't drop his last name, did we?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Because that's how I refer to him as. That's like his whole name.
Yep. Okay.
No.
Well, everybody, this will conclude the first podcast with Nate and Travis. We'll figure out a name eventually and maybe some artwork.
Gucci Greshner.
Yes, Nutmeg Nate and Cushy Gresham. We'll see y'all later.
Bye. Hell yeah.